Welcome back to Tassie Beauty. I'm Tassie, and today we are reviewing L'Oreal's Liquid Shadows. These are their Brilliant Eyes collection, and I did pick up 4 different shades, and each one of these retails for $9.97. I did get them from Walmart, so I am super excited to see how they actually wear, especially with like finicky formulas when it comes to liquid shadows. So if you guys are interested in seeing the different looks I created as well as my thoughts on them, continue watching. Okay, so we are going to be trying out the String of Pearls, which is this shade. And for this eye look, it was achieved with Jeffree Star's Jawbreaker palette. All right, so we are going to see how this works as just over here on this eye alone as a shadow. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to use my finger and blend this out. So I will say that I do not really like the formula because it's mostly on my finger. So it's definitely pulled and come off. So I know that this is going to be the type of wet shadow that if I applied it again during different drying times, it may flake off. It may start to crack. I'm gonna go in with a brush. So this is the Sigma Domed Blending E43 brush, and I'm just gonna try and see if I can maybe salvage this because it's looking patchy. This is not something I would wear on its own as a shadow. All right, so let's try it on this eye and see if this works well as a topper. All right, and again, I'm gonna go with my finger. Oh yeah. This is much better as a topper. I would not recommend you wearing this on its own. So this is definitely, in my opinion, better as a topper where you put it on top of an existing shade and you don't really wear it alone. Okay, like I feel kind of bad. I'm gonna try and maybe do another layer. So let's see how another layer is gonna look like. I mean, in general, when you're doing like shades that's this white, the formulas and stuff like that, it's got to be kind of hard because I've never actually found like a shimmery whiter shade that actually looked great on its own. So you know what, I'm gonna maybe try not using my finger. What do you guys think? Let's just use the applicator. See how it's creasing already? You cannot get away with just this applicator. Let's go back in with our Sigma brush. And you know, let's see what we can do. Maybe it will work. It's like a little bit stuck on the brush. And it's a little frozen now. Let's like try to push it in. No. Like, oh my god, it's just it's looking pretty bad, you guys. It's breaking up. It's breaking up here. It's different shades all around. I would not recommend you wearing it alone. All right, so for the next look, we are going to be using Blush Jewel, which is this shade here. Now for the eye look here, I actually use the Hip Dot Zion palette, and this is what it looks like. All right, so let's try it alone first before I try it as a topper. I'm gonna use my finger here and just blend it out. It's really subtle. It's really subtle, but I like it. Ooh, this totally reminds me of a look for like a summer day where you really don't want like a whole lot of eyeshadow on. This is very, very pretty. It's very, very pretty. All right, so we're gonna try it as a topper over here. This is very nice. You know, this shade here, it reminds me of my Marc Jacobs. This is the Moonstoned. So this is like a liquid shadow, which reminds me of the topper here. So the shades are a bit off. The Marc Jacobs one is much brighter and lighter in tone, but this is what it reminds me of, because whenever I do purpley red shades, I actually always go for my Marc Jacobs one. I'm gonna put on my swatch it here so you guys can kind of see this is what the Marc Jacobs one looks like. So it looks pretty similar to me. So yeah, I mean, I like both of them as on its own and as a topper as well. All right, so let's move on to the next look. Thank you for the pizza. Was that by the bed? All right, so for our next shade, we're gonna be using Crown Gold. Oh, wow. This is so beautiful. Holy cow, oh wow. This one is super pigmented. Crown Gold. Wow. All right, let's try it as a topper. Ooh. This is so pretty. I accidentally touched up there, but it's very, very pigmented. Holy cow, this is like, in real life it almost looks a little bronzy, kind of a gold, but the pigment is amazing. All right, so for our next one, we're going to be doing Radiant Ruby. And for this eye look, I did use the Ace Beauty Scarlet Dust Palette. And that's what it looks like. Ooh, it's a little glunky. Let's put some back. Oh, this one here, like the gold, super pigmented. So I found that this one here, this shade, it is harder to blend the edges with my finger. So I'm gonna try to go in with a brush and see if I can kind of force it to move a little. It helped a little. And I'm using the Sigma Domed Blending E43 brush. Oh yeah, it's helping. Oh, much better. So I definitely feel that the Radiant Ruby here shade, I feel like it dries down with almost a better formula because I could actually move it with my brush and it's shading very nicely as far as like just blending out. Yeah, this is a really good formula, the Radiant Ruby one, and the color stands out. It's a little more copper than I was expecting. I mean, if you hear Radiant Ruby, you're kind of thinking red, right? Like a dark red, but I definitely feel like this is more of a brown red. All right, let's try it as a topper and let's see how this goes. And I'm gonna go in with my finger again first, just to see what I can do. Okay, so the Radiant Ruby to me is not a topper. It's definitely a shadow on its own because it definitely ate away and totally masked the shade that was underneath. The shade I had on my lid where I just masked it, it is actually this Pink Moon one. So as you can see, there's no pink there. It is strictly just the Radiant Ruby shade. Even on my paper towel here that I've been wiping my fingers off of, it is more of a brown kind of a red and not so much an actual red. It's funny because out of the 4 options, this one, in my mind, has the best formula as far as, you know, blendability and actually wearing it as its own shadow. Whereas I felt like the other shades, maybe because they were on the lighter range, they were definitely more of just like, it would be excellent as a topper to like add that extra oomph to existing shades, and also a really nice glow, like maybe even a highlighter on its own. Whereas this one here definitely I feel like is a shadow. So if you guys are going to get these L'Oreal Brilliant eyes, consider darker shades if you're looking more for a shadow and not so much as a topper, an easy glow kind of a look, and you want an actual shadow. Alright, so those were the 4 looks that I decided to do as far as, you know, can this be a shadow on its own? And then again, is this better as a topper? So I ended up choosing the blue look. With the String of Pearls shade, as you guys saw, it doesn't work well on its own. You pretty much have to use this as a topper. It starts to break apart. It doesn't hold well. It can't blend well. But then we had the other shades here, which were phenomenal. They were much better on their own as well as a topper, except for the very last shade, the Radiant Ruby. Radiant Ruby in itself, this one I would not consider a topper. This one truly is like a liquid shadow on its own. And even the Crown Gold, it's pretty similar where it could be on its own as a shadow. With the Blush Jewel shade, I feel like this is more so not... It is a shadow. It could definitely pass off as a shadow, but I don't know. When I wore it, I got more of like spring and summery vibes when you are going more for a natural look, definitely in quotations because you're still wearing makeup. But if you're going more for a dewy, glowy kind of look and it's summertime, this would be absolutely fantastic. This one I definitely will be trying in the summertime on its own without all these different shades of shadows. These are definitely products that I will keep playing with just to see how they're going to wear in the future, different looks that I can actually pair them with. I did generally like most of the formulas, except for the white one that I'm actually currently wearing. However, you know, with the String of Pearls shade, I'm just going to use it as a topper on top of other shades. I probably would never ever actually wear it on its own, but it looks phenomenal in my opinion on top of another shadow. And if we actually do a close-up, you guys can see how nicely it actually just gradients. You know, so this is definitely something wear on top of another shade. Alright you guys, so that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.